Sunday Night Football, we have the Chiefs visiting the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is in back-to-back primetime games. I guess you can call him Mr. Primetime. The line is currently at Falcons plus 3.5, with the total being at 46.5. So diving into the Chiefs real quick, they're just the Chiefs. They're going to win their game. I mean, they got to run for their money with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and it kind of feels like how Michigan built themselves to beat Ohio State. It almost feels like, as Joe Burrow said on the Kelsey Brothers podcast, which I have not listened to, called New Heights, which they did sell for $100 million. I wish I had $100 million. I always talk about having $100 million. I'll settle for 5. With that being said, Joe Burrow did go on the podcast and say, hey, the Bengals kind of built to beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs did only escape that game by winning by 1 point. It was kind of lame how it all ended, but I'll probably dive into that a little bit later. But the Chiefs, they look good. Bengals looked like they had their number a little bit and just stopped them on a couple of downs, which was super key, and the Bengals were moving the ball on the Chiefs. Yeah, they saw pressure. Joe Burrow saw pressure, but he was slinging it. So the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and it just doesn't matter what you're going to put in front of them. Now, Pacheco is out, and that is a key factor for the Chiefs, which I think their run game is going to decrease a little bit, so Patrick Mahomes may have to rely on his arm. Not saying that Patrick Mahomes can't rely on his arm, but his run game is a key factor for that Chiefs offense. For Atlanta, I hated that game. The Atlanta game just personally sucked for me as an Eagles fan, where not only didn't get my Eagles like push it in because I had Eagles -6, all they had to do was just run it twice. It doesn't matter. Kirk Cousins came in and was just a thief of joy for all Philadelphia, and as a done better the last game, it's just ingrained in my brain that now Kirk Cousins is Mr. Primetime. I can't stop saying Mr. Primetime. I wonder how Prime feels about that. Was happy, not happy at all to see someone score a touchdown on the Eagles, but happy that it was Drake London versus Kyle Pitts, because I've been all over Drake London, and Bijan Robinson is really good at football. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball, and he can just get yards. Either that or the Eagles just absolutely suck, which is another key thing that probably was more the case. Not saying Bijan isn't good, but the Eagles defense might just be so bad that it's like, if you're going into a quarter, you'll be like, oh, that's a hole. And everyone's like, yeah, of course that's the hole, because the Eagles defense just has holes. Diving into the percentage splits and the sharp movement on this game, it did open up -4, went to 4.5, but now it is at -3.5 for the Chiefs. So we definitely saw some sharp action hit at that -4.5 to bring it down to -3.5. As it currently stands, Atlanta has 23% of the bets with 19% of the money. So it's not really like a big point differential there, especially since they only have 23% of the bets. Again, it doesn't matter. I say this every single time, but we got to put in the effect formula and see what comes out. Now, I type out all of these show notes, right? Some games I definitely get in depth more than others, and you can tell that because one's funnier than the other. But when I type out the notes, I never put the I before E in Chiefs, and it always autocorrects and drives me up a wall. So I'm going to go ahead and give a half point over to the Falcons. Like I mentioned previously, the Falcons just beat the Eagles on primetime television. So in my head, the Falcons are now the best team in the NFL. I know all they did was just score a touchdown at the end, and the Eagles played prevent, so they were just able to score the ball easily. I understand that, but in my dumb brain, I'm like, the Falcons might be the best team to ever exist now. So I'm gonna go ahead and give another half point to the Falcons. So currently I have this at Falcons plus 2.5. Chiefs played a great game, but the game was kind of decided on a penalty. Yes, you can just screenshot it, post it to Twitter, and there's going to be a penalty on probably every single football play, but it's just lame. They're just lame, and I didn't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and give another half point over to the Falcons. Now, although the Falcons drive ripped my heart out, it was so fun to watch a good football game. I said fun, and I kind of said it weird because I threw up in my mouth a little bit, because it's never fun watching someone score on the Eagles. It might be what the kids call super irritating, but at least it was good football that was getting played, unlike oh, here's a penalty, here's a penalty. Like, they actually caught the ball and drove down the field in live time. So I saw my dreams escape my body within live time. That being said, when I go ahead and math all this out, I'm actually going to have this at Atlanta plus 2. So I'm going to be backing them here, especially if I'm getting that 3.5 hook. Now, if it goes to 3, 2.5, I don't know if I'm going to touch it, but I can't see the public backing Atlanta that big in this spot. Now, for as far as a player prop here, they're getting Kirk Cousins moving. So I'm going to take primetime Kirk Cousins as my pick. Now, how am I going to do this? Well, the game script likely might be, I know they're only 3.5 point dogs, but they're probably going to be trailing the Chiefs, and I'm going to hope for some type of either an outright win. I'll take an outright win or a backdoor cover. But I think Kirk's going to be throwing the ball a lot because he's getting a lot more comfortable. I mean, we can see that he is putting more pressure on that back foot when he does his drop back on the previous game compared to his first game. So as he gets more comfortable, he's going to be throwing the ball more. Since he's throwing the ball more, I'm actually going to go over 31.5 pass attempts from Kirk Cousins. So you're to hear Kirk Cousins is going to be slinging it all over the Kansas City defense, and I don't feel good about saying that out loud, but I think he's going to get over 31.5 pass attempts in this game. That's a player prop I'm going to be backing for your Sunday Night Football.